tell I haven't driven the Skyline in a while when this is in the corner. Hi everybody, welcome back to Build It TV. My name is Rob and this is my 1997 180SX I imported from Japan. If you're new to the channel, which about 500 of you are since I last worked on this car, then I'll run through it in a bit more detail. Is the Type X or Type S version because it started its life as an auto SR20DE non-turbo, but I purchased an R33 Skyline, stripped that for parts and used the engine and gearbox to go into this car. So currently, as it sits, it has an RB25DET with RB26 cam covers on, Grady inlet manifold, HKS turbo, load of other bits as well. So the footage I'm going to show you I actually filmed about a year ago when I was working on this car a bit more heavily, and it's really time to crack on and get back into it. So what you're going to see is a younger, slightly more handsome version of me, and remember this guy only had like 100 subscribers, so go easy on him, all right? I think this has to be the most in-depth bumper taking off I've ever had. I've had 2 or 3 S13s before and they've always just had the top bolts and some cable ties down the bottom. This one has the original little rubber trims that go across here, has every single nut and bolt all the way up the fender lining, this little brace thing here, the little back panel bit here, and every bolt that runs all the way up the sides here. So I'm going to take the fender liners out and be able to get in there with a ratchet, and that should help be able to undo all the ones that sit all the way across here. Look at all those, just for the bumper. That's mad. Could have been done with like 6 bolts. Probably would have squeaked though. Okay, so with the bumper off, we've got this big bumper bar here. We want to keep that in place to keep a load of rigidity for the bumper itself, and obviously for safety reasons. So what I've done is I've marked up underneath here where the bumper sits and where you can see it, where the bracketry needs to be. We're going to cut out everything that's not needed, but leave some bits here because we might want to mount the oil cooler in that position. So I'm going to whip this off and start cutting that. We'll also, when I've measured it in, cut out most of the front section here for airflow as well. So the next issue I found is with that core support cut out, the next bit we hit on are these brackets here. So they do actually just unbolt. I'll unbolt them out. We want to keep the bracketry for the front bumper. We still need to have somewhere to put the horns, and this stabilizes the front as well. So we'll need something in there to replace. Also, don't want to remove the bonnet latch. We want to keep that OE. So we're going to need to do something with the bits here as well. But we'll start by taking out these 2 side supports. This is how the intercooler sits with the bumper sat in place. I'm just going to make some bottom brackets so that it sits a bit further back so it's not pushing on the bumper. And this is where I want the oil cooler to fit. So I want it to fit up snug between the bumper and the intercooler, and there's nothing else that needs to go in this hole, unlike the side ones which have got the lights that go in there and the grills. So I'm going to make a bracket that makes it sit just a little bit higher than this, so it clears the bottom a bit better, the same as the intercooler does. You can see there. I would like to make a bracket on the bottom, but unfortunately there's no bracketry on the bottom of the oil cooler, so we will have to use the top bracketry here and use it on that support bar, the same one we used for the intercooler mount. So these are the brackets welded up for the top mounting of the intercooler. So next we need to do is to make the bottom ones and to mount the oil cooler as well. So here's our concept for the bracket, and we're going to take it from that to that. Then we need to assemble it to a welded up bracket. And of course we need 2 of them. So we've got both brackets sorted for the intercooler. So we've got the top mounts here, and we've got the bottom mounting points here. I will smooth these off and make them look a bit nicer, but they are more than sturdy enough with the bracing in there. If anything, it's a bit overkill, and that is not going anywhere at all. So next up is the oil cooler, and I've made a couple of brackets here with some riv nuts in the bottom, and that is going to weld onto the inside of here, the bottom lip. So I'm just going to loosen this off and trial fit that on, mark up where they need to go, and then we'll get that welded on. So I've just trial fitted the bumper back on with intercooler all mounted out top and bottom, and also with the oil cooler in there as well, so you can see that fits snugly in this middle section. I'm just going to need to cut out part of this bit here, but I'm also going to need to cut the backs of where the lights go in on this sort of grille panel here as well, so we'll be doing that. But first of all, I want to make sure we get some more airflow through the bumper. So as you can see, the intercooler comes down this bottom half here, but the intercooler actually goes all the way up to here. So what we're going to be doing is cutting up behind the number plate, so that when we're using it on anything that's not normal road driving, we can just pop the number plate off. We won't have the tilt on there, and you'll be able to get a load more air going through. I have seen some on like the Kagoshi S13 where you've got extra vents here for it as well. I don't think we're going to do that at the moment, but we might look at that down the line possibly. So the big reveal after that is there's a load of structural polystyrene in here, so we'll get that gone as well. We've got our bumper cut out, and we've got our bracing part behind cut out, so we can see right the way through to the intercooler, and a whole lot more airflow is going to be able to get through there. Next thing to do is to get this one to fit into here. As you can see, it's fouling on the intercooler at the moment, so we just need to trim back on here on both sides, and we should be good. And there it is, just took a couple of measurements and cut down on both sides so it fits nicely, leaving a little bit of clearance between it and the intercooler so we don't get any rubbing issues, but like I said, that's not going to be moving anywhere, and this shouldn't be moving much at all. The next thing to look at in terms of clearance is this washer bottle. So where this sits currently, if I can get a good shot up here, let's get a shot under here, there we go. Here is our exit for our intercooler. It's going to come around to about here and go up through the location where the battery used to sit. So this is going to sit in the way. So what I'm thinking is that it sits on the mounts here, and it goes up through the body, but where it goes up through it detaches, so you can actually spin it. So what I might do is undo those, spin it, and remake some brackets for it to sit on. So with the intercooler pipe cut up and in place, we just need to really make a few tweaks and get that welded up. I've put some 90 degrees straight off of the intercooler, so then it goes up here. I'll stop this one just here because we don't know exactly what we're going to do with inlet and stuff with the turbo yet until we've got that set in place. So for this side, we've got another 90 off here and 90 going up. So that meets up to the pipe that's going to hit the throttle body. So the other thing we needed to do was relocate or move the washer tank, because we want to keep front and rear washers. You can move them to the boot and things like that, but actually, nice and easy, you can just twist this 90 degrees. So I'm going to make up some brackets that will fit onto some of these here to hold this in place, because it obviously holds quite a lot of water and a bit of weight. I think there's three different brackets, so I'll make those up, and once we've got that in place, then we should have most of the front end tied in. So I've hooked up a bracket for the washer fluid reservoir. So here's the reservoir here. Here is the bracket I've made, just some bent bits of metal and welded together for this part here. So that sits in like that. So you've then got another bracket here, which then goes onto the inside of the chassis leg. So I'm just going to quickly paint these up in some black, just so they look nice and neat, and we'll get those fitted in. So this is that very bracket all painted up and in place. As you can see, it holds the washer bottle really nicely. So we've just got to extend the original pipes and then we can have everything working exactly as it did from factory. That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you found any of the content informative or enjoyable, then please hit the like button and think about subscribing as well. We've got loads more to do on this. In the next video, we're going to be looking at plumbing up some bits. So we're going to be doing the intercooler pipe in, a radiator setup, and hopefully hooking up the oil cooler and things like that. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and I will see you soon. Catch you later.